For more on the summit and its goals, Lincoln Mitchell joins me now from New York. He's an adjunct associate professor of political science at Columbia University. So Lincoln, a united front so far it seems, but some important FaceTime between these three leaders. We know that Mexico's president doesn't really leave the country too often. So how significant was this trilateral summit? And overall, how would you describe expectations for some of these guys coming closer on some of these bigger issues?
I think it is reasonably significant because these three major North American countries, Mexico, the United States, and Canada, it is essential that they work together on issues like COVID, like climate change, and that they work out some of the differences around trade and immigration and things like that that are not as significant, but they can be roadblocks. If we can't cooperate with our neighbors to the north and the south that have been in the bigger picture allies, for centuries now, then the United States really has made some missteps that are going to get worse. So I see this as positive. It's our neighbors really are happy that we are now in the post-Trump America, at least for now. So they're very happy to see Biden. And, the Biden administration, they're not going to agree on everything with AMLO or with Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada, but they know they can have a conversation. So I think it's significant.
First time in 5 years the leaders of these three countries have been able to meet face to face. Do you think that being said, with what you just commented on, could this reset relations that were left rocky from the previous U.S. administration? Well,
they will help, but the bigger problems aren't going to go away, right? And I would highlight both trade, but also immigration, because we talked about climate change, but in the case of North America, like much of the world, climate change and immigration are not unrelated. And Mexico is a country that, because of its climate, which of course is very different from Canada's, climate change may accelerate an economic crisis in Mexico, may push more migrants north to the United States. So that issue will become more fraught, not less fraught, in the coming years. And it is critical to have dialogue around this and to ratchet down the anti-immigrant, which is in fact anti-Mexican rhetoric that we saw from the previous administration and that we still see from too many parts of the United States.
But a lot of people are hoping to hear more, I think, when it comes to immigration come out of this meeting, because it is a major concern for both Mexico and the United States. Border apprehensions are at the highest level they've ever been. There seems to be no end in sight, especially when you see all of the pictures and the video coming from the border. Do you think anything will be addressed or resolved with you have the U.S. and Mexican presidents at the same table right now?
Well, certainly nothing is going to be resolved today or this week. All we're doing today or this week is starting a dialogue. But I don't know that this will be resolved. I don't know that this is resolvable. When you have the border between the United States and Mexico is the longest border in the world between countries with such radically different economic states. So, of course, there's always going to be a draw to pull people across the border. Mexicans are going to always want to come to the United States for economic opportunity, and others migrating through Mexico from points further south. The geography just makes that an eternal question for these two countries.
And one last quick note on the U.S.-Canada COVID border restrictions being relaxed. A lot of people don't realize that was such a big deal, but that is bringing some welcome relief to a lot of people on both sides of the border.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the northern part of the United States, the southern part of Canada, for citizens of those two countries, that border has been pretty easy to cross for a very long time. And many people have family on both sides, go shopping on both sides, even make commute to work across the border, pre-COVID. So opening up that border, both of these countries have pretty good access to vaccines, pretty good access to testing. So this is a good development that is good for the economies of both countries and good for the goodwill of both countries. I mean, I certainly have, Canadian friends who are happy about this, as well as American friends.
Same here. Lincoln Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate seeing you.
Always good to see you. Take care.